Somebody is around our house.
Was they walking around the house?
No, they're trying to break. They were trying to break in, but I heard them and I saw them, and we don't know if they are armed or not.
And he waves to the inside. You can see that he waves to the inside. He's kind of watching, which is.
What was that?
Nothing. Don't shoot.
And with the phone in his hand, with the flashlight, and he walks towards the table to lay down the paperwork that he just completed, which means.
But it wasn't in this case. It's probably one of those things that I would call lawful but awful.
You're watching the Comm Center with Drew Breezy and John. Our number is 848-266-6911. Nice. That's 848-266-COMM 911. We have a real live Canadian. He speaks English. We are speaking with our constable friend. Constable Canuck is what we have called him, not in the derogatory sense.
Is it even derogatory? It's not derogatory,
no.
Is it?
I don't think so. No.
Canuck, can you stick around, please? Constable Canuck, forgive me. Can you stick around, s'il vous plaît, while and you can crack wise on what we've got for a case tonight. Maybe you can give us the Canadian perspective as well. But I want to talk. I want to talk about this.
Total coincidence.
We're going to do this 911 call first. Here it is.
What's the address of the emergency?
Hi, our address is 41 Concord Drive, Dunedin. Somebody is just on our lanai.
Hold on, I'm all off my game here. I told you I was going to put it in context for you, and I didn't. Essentially, what happened is this woman is in her bedroom with her husband. She goes to the kitchen to get something to eat or drink or something like that, and she looks out her blinds, and she can see on her lanai where her pool is, there's a figure out there. And she's like, what is going on? So she runs and tells her husband, hey, there's somebody there's somebody out there. So they peek out and they definitely see somebody out there. And the guy who turns out to be, spoiler alert, the pool guy at 9 p.m. in the evening, goes to his car, first shows up. He kind of waves at them thinking that he saw them and they saw her and everybody is cool. And, to show up 9 o'clock unannounced to clean your pool. He goes to the car to fill out some paperwork and realizes he can't see. So he brings his flashlight back. In the meantime, the male homeowner retrieves his rifle, and they're hunkered down in the residence. And while she's on the phone with 911, he starts yelling, go away, go away. Well, the pool guy doesn't hear him and advances towards the house with his flashlight. So now the homeowners really don't have any other choice but to think, whoever this is about to break into my house. And in an effort, in my opinion, and actually anybody with a sane mind who has an opinion, this man is protecting his home. We call it the castle doctrine. He has no duty to retreat. In fact, he's protecting his home and his wife who's in there. He fires a couple rounds. The guy takes off. Then the story takes kind of a right turn, but we'll cover that again. So let's listen to the call, and then we'll let John opine as a 911 dispatcher, and then he and I will argue incessantly to the point where we turn you off.
Somebody is around our house.
Was they walking around the house?
No, they're trying to break. They were trying to break in, but I heard them and I saw them, and we don't know if they are armed or not. We just need somebody to come and check on the house.
And how much did he weigh? What was that?
Nothing. Don't shoot.
What was that, ma'am?
My husband. My husband.
What was that bang?
This was a shot.
Who made a shot?
They are going around the house.
Who? I need to know what that was.
I don't know. Somebody's yelling.
I need him to stop shooting the gun.
Okay, stop. Stop. Put it down. Put it on the floor, please.
Why?
Let's stay here.
What kind of gun is it?
Somebody, please.
I don't know.
No, somebody.
Did he shoot anybody?
Stop it.
Hello, ma'am.
Stop it, Matic. Stop it, please. Matic, stop it. Stop it, please.
Why? I need him to stop shooting the gun.
Here. Where are you? Where is the
I need him to. I need him to put down the gun, ma'am.
I need the police.
Ma'am, I need him to put down the gun.
What happened?
Nothing. I don't know.
Shut up. Oh.
Yes.
We already opened doors if the deputies are here.
We don't.
One moment, let me.
My God.
I'm afraid to go to the.
Did I hurt somebody? Whoa.
No, you didn't. No. No, just breathe. Breathe. Okay.
Okay, so that is the 911 call. John, please feel free to give us your take on that.
What's super frustrating is as a dispatcher, I guess I'll just tell you how I feel. Like, boy, this situation got out of hand quickly. You know, there's a prowler. That's what we would call this case, is a prowler outside, and all of a sudden we're just, we're going full Rambo on this, and you worry about what's happening, what you missed out on. When he says stop shooting, you're gonna come. He told him to stop shooting when the dispatcher has no idea. Like, is the guy still trying to get inside? Is it a whole gang of people? Is the homeowner, is he already shot? Is it an active gunfight? Like, yeah, like this dispatcher doesn't know, but what he's reacting to, if I had to guess, and I'm not criticizing, is pump the brakes, hold on 1 second, let's get this situation stabilized. Like, I can't do one more thing because there's so many shots being fired. The folks you have to remember too is, like, the gunshots are going off. I don't think he's necessarily telling this guy to disarm himself or to give up or anything, because the guy's certainly not going to do that. But we can't send police into a situation where rifle rounds are going off, or we don't want to anyway, particularly when we have no intelligence on what's going on, other than, like, there's somebody within the curtilage of the house and gunshots are being fired. There was, I believe, 30 rounds fired in 90 seconds. So the dispatcher is just, all of a sudden, he's in the deep end of the pool. He's trying to react to that. So also, what's frustrating on this call, and we'll talk on this a little bit, Drew, is because there's a civil side of this too, but when he's talking to her for information, she seems kind of like, oh shit, I don't want to tell you that, like, my husband is blowing people away, because she's like, stop shooting, please stop. She doesn't know what's going on either. Nobody really knows the full in the moment. They don't know the full, totality of the circumstances. So she wants them to stop shooting because we all want shots to stop being fired. They're scary. We should say that, did we mention already, Drew, that the homeowner there is was he a light colonel in the Army?
Yep.
Okay. So he's got some proficiency with firearms, probably knows about them. It's an AR-15, which of course is the media's hot button rifle, even though it has no bearing on anything at all, the make and model of the rifle. But I think he's just trying to get a stop to the situation and have the police handle it, which is kind of every dispatcher's instinct. Drew, go ahead.
This is where John and I kind of differ. This becomes a very tense and different situation than somebody on your lanai when the flashlight starts advancing towards your door. You have no duty to retreat. Therefore, you have no duty to wait to see if they're going to try the doorknob, and you don't have any duty to wait to see if they're going to, like, okay, well, he's undone his pants and he's ripped my wife's nightgown out. Like, I haven't seen the full thing come out yet, so this is and I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence by saying that, but that's the truth of the matter. Like, it was the difference between, like, just some kind of reckless shooting at somebody on your lanai, and fully remember, your lanai is he's essentially in their living room, their outdoor living room.
I know what a lanai is.
It's just a matter of a sliding glass door that's locked. So when he advances towards, when you start putting these things together and he's advancing towards the door with the flashlight, he's not walking away after being warned a couple times to walk away. He's walking towards you. I think that, as the sheriff, you may have left it in there in his press conference, said, look, this is something we call lawful but awful. But there is a reason to have this castle doctrine that we keep referring to, which I do take issue, however, when it comes to the 911 call itself, when the dispatcher starts directing a homeowner what to do to protect themselves. And I know that was probably instinctual, and I know that the dispatcher was doing the best that they can to probably stabilize the situation and make sure that nobody else gets hurt. Or obviously you got to ask, are they shooting at you or are you shooting at them? And I do agree that you don't want to send officers into a firefight like that, but at the same time, when you tell someone, okay, put the gun away, or hey, put that gun down and stop firing, and then the other person takes the gun out and shoots them, what have we done? We've created the exigency. We have put them in danger. So on everything that's pretty universal, theft is just stealing something. Burglary is robbery is theft with some type of violence involved. It's to a person, and burglary, depending on if the residence is occupied or whatever they're burglarizing. If you're burglarizing a vehicle, a vehicle can be occupied just as well.
Yep. But it is important when you dial 911 to know the difference. All right, Drew, let's go on.
All right, here's the video. You could see he's bringing the skimmer out. He's got something in his mouth at the moment. He lays it down. Then he waves to the inside. You could see that he waves to the inside. He's kind of watching, which is a little creepy in my opinion. But then he waves again, as in, I take it you saw me. This kind of jumps around quite a bit, but he went out to his car to get his phone, which is acting as his flashlight. So he completes his paperwork. He sets the wow, that was cut really quick.
That's because the guy's just there. First of all, I want to praise his diligence that he had work to do. He's running behind. He doesn't say, guess what? The Hokavars aren't waiting until tomorrow. I want them going out there bathing when the sun comes up. Goes out there. He's checking the traps. He's pulling the crap out of there. And you know what? He's taking a flashlight. You know why? Because he didn't want to wake these people up. Super
give that man a raise.
No.
Wants to go out there. No criminal intent. Is that what you just said, Constable?
No, give that man a raise.
Oh, I thought you said no mens rea, and I'm like, man, you are full blown. You are a lawyer. Yes, give that man a raise because he's out there just doing the Lord's work. And you know what? He's got a pool wife and a pool baby to feed. Drew, go ahead.
Look at his posture right now. Like he leaned forward a little bit to see what was going on there. He kind of put his arm up as in he's waving. Now he's standing there with his hands on his hip. I think he's like, going on here?
Why aren't they wearing suits? And this is only a lanai.
He's just kind of like, hey, is she walking around in her,
You think he's being a looky-loo there? Is that what you think?
I think he's being a looky-loo. That's my opinion. So then he goes out. He goes out to the car, and of course, John edits all the important parts out because he wants to make his argument. So
that's not true. I downloaded it from a third party, and I didn't want to put a lot of extra work into it. Is what
he put his pen behind his ear. He went over to the pavers right by the pool to fill out his paperwork, and with the phone in his hand with the flashlight, and he walks towards the table to lay down the paperwork that he just completed, which means he's walking towards the door with the phone in his hand that has
probably
a flashlight.
An "I love you" note, and I'm sorry I was late.
It could very well be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot and showed up at your lanai at 9 p.m. while your blinds were closed." So you could see he hightails it out of there when the shots start ringing out. So here's the sheriff, Bob Gualtieri. He's the sheriff of Pinellas County.
When he took that AR out, it wasn't like he was sitting there and he had decided, I'm going to pull this trigger. He was sitting there, he was waiting. And what was the event that caused him to fire was the flashlight. And he thinks the guy's coming in, so he puts one in the chamber and racks it and then fires. Which again, cuts to, this isn't a guy that was sitting there trigger happy wanting to shoot. He was trying to protect himself and his wife, and he was concerned about the circumstances. It's a terrible set of circumstances, but it's unfortunate, avoidable, but it wasn't in this case. It's probably one of those things that I would call lawful but awful. I mean, it's awful, but it's just an awful set of circumstances. They walked out front and saw the pool truck in front of the house, and then he had this, oh my gosh moment. But it wasn't until then. He really had no idea until they walked out front and saw the pool truck. When we talked to pool guy, in hindsight, he should have probably let him know that he was coming at 9 o'clock at night. Again, he made no effort to contact them at all. This is a classic example of what's called the castle doctrine, or Florida's stand your ground law. Bradley Hokevar was in his home. He was in fear that someone was breaking in. The evidence from the video and from his statements, the audio, his wife's statements on the video, and to detectives, that there's no crime that was committed. He was in his home. He was defending what he thought was an intruder coming into his house where he and his wife were.
So, John, even on a bad day, like, I mean, all the guy was really trying to do is defend his thing. Like, what's your idea of justice in this case? I mean, what's the punishment here?
I'm going to be honest with you, Drew. Like, Florida is pretty well known for their judicious application of, frankly, the death penalty. And I think if you're blowing somebody away who's just trying to clean your pool, I think you have to take aggravating and mitigating circumstances into account. But I mean, this poor pool guy passed away because he was doing his job. I think it's just beyond the pale.
I really don't think that this is a death penalty case, John.
Well, he killed that guy.
No, actually, he didn't.
He had to have, otherwise there would be no reason to make this graphic. There's Carl Polek. He's up there skimming Jesus' pool now in heaven. Gone too soon, only 24 years old or something. I'm not sure how old. No, he's 34. No, he's some age.
Yeah, it's 24. What's the math? Is that imperial math?
That's pretty.
Well, it's metric years, guys. And so, in memoriam to Carl Polek, we miss you and thank you for your diligence. Thank you for your service to this.
Thank you for your pool service. I don't know that. I believe if he is in heaven, he is cleaning out the baptismal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he's doing. And his name is Polek, like
I know,
like you know what I'm saying?
I was also struck by that. I thought it was like, well, of course he is. It's like, this is what he's born to do. That's why he's working at 9 p.m. to clean out the pool.
He was not killed in this incident.
No,
he did not pass away. He's just fine.
He's slightly annoyed, as he
maybe a little embarrassed.